As ever, if you see that, I knew this was going to happen. If you joined me for any of my live streams during the season 2 era of Doctor Who, you'll be happy to know my live stream skills have not improved. I'm still technologically incapable, but I thought it's an exciting day to do a live stream. If you haven't seen already, the video is out on the channel, so you can go and check that out. But the BBC have officially announced the return of Doctor Who. Now, there is good news, there is bad news. Doctor Who's back. We're good with that, but it's in over a year's time. I'm just getting the live chat up on my computer so I can actually say hello to you all. Hello, the Immortal Zombie. Hello, Leah D. Hi, hope you're okay. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you guys doing? Are you all excited about this news? It's so mad. It's just sort of come completely out of nowhere as well. Hello to Harry Atkinson. Hello, Shadow Jedi Knight. I was in the middle of watching the video. Well, feel free to continue watching the video or watch this. Either one, we'll be answering all questions Doctor Who related here. Hello from India. Hello. Avengers Doomsday and Doctor Who in December 2026. Yes. December 2026 is going to be so exciting. I was on the phone just a minute ago to Tharies, and we were just saying, which is so true, imagine how exciting it's going to be this time next year. Like, I know it's a while away, but actually sitting down on Christmas Day to watch a Doctor Who special episode, which is going to have Billie Piper, and they haven't officially confirmed it yet, but come on, it's written by Russell, that's the cliffhanger. Jane Tranter was talking the other day about, Russell's teased the return of Rose Tyler, which, is that a clue that she's not actually the Doctor? And also, look, I'm just going to tell you the plot now, because I can sense it. I can see exactly what's going to happen. It's going to pick up in the TARDIS. The Billie Piper Doctor, whatever, is going to be in there. She's going to be confused. Why do I have this face? Am I Rose? Am I the Doctor? Am I Emerge? What's gone on? So she's going to go back to Earth to the 14th Doctor to go, you're the Doctor, help me out here. That's I reckon, your pre-title sequence to the Christmas special. Hello everyone. Right, I'll have a look at the chat. How do you react that RTD is the writer, asks Cam. I'm excited. You know, I love RTD. That man has written some of the best television, and I don't know how involved Disney were. We know they did ask for certain script changes. Russell says he was happy with all of that, but he's not exactly going to go, I'm not happy with that. It's going to be cool to see Russell writing again without Disney. I don't know whether that's going to change the show much, but yeah, also, this is the first time he'll have been able to see and maybe take on board some of the feedback people have given about seasons 1 and seasons 2, because you've got to remember they were all shot in a block before there was time to change things around. Things can only get better, sings Dr. Master. Indeed. Or am I Bad Wolf, says Shadow Jedi Knight. I don't know. Maybe. Only time will tell. What if David Tennant and Billie Piper merge together, says Maxwell. Yeah, look, it's just the probability of David Tennant coming back I'm not a betting man, but if I were, I'd put money on it. Like, David Tennant, if you've got Billie Piper back in the show, you can't not bring back David Tennant, especially when she's probably not playing the Doctor as such. You don't even have a Doctor, and there's a Doctor lying about on Earth who's part of this RTD2 era. It just kind of makes sense. I get why people are frustrated and worried about David Tennant coming back. And if Billie Piper wasn't in the episode, I would agree. It's silly to just rely on Tennant. But we've got to play the game with the cards that we have been dealt. Billie Piper is in the next episode. So bringing back David Tennant makes a lot of sense. Do you see where I'm coming from? I'd be on board if it was like, no Billie Piper, no David Tennant. But if you've got Billie Piper, it makes sense. Like, you want a character reaction to her face. Like, if she is the Doctor, you want someone to be like, whoa, but that's your old friend's face. Otherwise, you've got no dramatic payoff. And kind of the only person that can be, because it's not going to be Christopher Eccleston. You could have Jackie Tyler, but that's kind of random. It's not going to be Mickey Smith for pretty obvious reasons. It's not going to be Captain Jack for pretty obvious reasons. It kind of leaves you with just David Tennant, who could have that reaction. Well, the 14th/10th Doctor. But yeah, only time will tell. Sorry, guys, I will try and keep up with the chat. As ever with these live streams, feel no obligation, but if you do want to super chat, it does help me out a lot, and I will definitely see your message because it like flashes up. Where were we with the chat? What if Billy's a watcher, says Vortex. Yeah, I could see it. We never quite know who or what the watcher is exactly, which I like. So I don't know whether they should explore it too much, but I've always headcanoned that, yeah, it's one of the things I got, like, oh, the Echo Doctor. It's like an echo of the Doctor. When the universe goes so wrong, it creates its own echo of the Doctor, which Echo Doctor or Watcher in the show's case. It could be something like that, like the Doctor's changed time. And yeah, maybe we'll see. Joe Martin is the new Doctor, says Bob. That would be cool. What about Jackie? Is that actor problematic? No, she's not problematic. She is lovely, but it would be so random to just like. Okay, so think about the new fans who like. Obviously, if you started with the Disney era, you'd know who the 14th Doctor is, but you wouldn't know who Jackie is, and it's really random. But I suppose you could have Jackie Tyler in it. It would be kind of funny. Dr. Master says, if it's Billy and David, I ain't watching it. Would you not? I feel like that might be slightly controversial. Like, I feel like even if Doctor Who did the most irritating thing ever, I'd still watch, even if it was a hate watch. But it is such a tricky one because he's going to be in it. I can sense it. David Tennant will be in the episode, and I feel we've all got a year and a bit to come to terms with that, whether that's for good or for bad. I hope the new showrunner is J. Michael Straczynski. That is the guy who wrote The Thing that slipped my mind. Someone remind me in the live chat. I know what I'm talking about, probably, hopefully. But yeah, I haven't seen his writing as such yet. I will, but maybe. I do think the way the press statement is worded interests me a lot because it almost comes across as like Russell's not going to carry on after the Christmas special, which, if that is the case, it makes even more sense that David Tennant would crop up as a final goodbye to Russell's like whole Doctor Who tenure. Because, yeah, let me just find it again. I've got the article up somewhere because there's very specific wording in it that makes me think. Where is it? Lindsay Salt says, we'd like to thank Disney Plus for being a terrific global partner and collaborators over the past two seasons, and for the upcoming War Between the Land and the Sea. The BBC remains fully committed, and we are delighted that Russell T Davies has agreed to write us another spectacular Christmas special for 2026. Now, it's not saying there that he's not writing more, but it goes on to say, we can assure fans the Doctor is not going anywhere, and we will be announcing plans for the next series in due course, which will ensure that the TARDIS remains at the heart of the BBC. They've carefully worded that, kind of, so that it doesn't directly say Russell T Davies will carry on after Christmas. I think that's kind of up in the air. We could be looking at this being the end of the Russell era. I think that's possibly realistic, but who knows? I also wonder, like, why now? Why have they decided to drop this news now? Like, it's seemingly out of nowhere. There were those whisperings the other day of, like, the spin-off coming back to this year, which is true. It's come back to 2025. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the partnership between Disney has got to have fallen apart relatively recently, and they've gone, let's just quickly announce the show, and then November 23rd, I think, we'll either start the War Between the Land and the Sea, or we'll find out before then when it's going to begin. Let's have a look at the chat. There's apparently a Reform supporter in the chat. Oh dear. Today, the BBC announced that Doctor Who will be back on our screens. Written by Russell T Davies, sad face. I don't know. I think, like, I know the most recent two seasons have been a mixed bag, to say it uncontroversially. But just think of the glory days of Russell. That man can write Doctor Who. Like, I think there was a sort of confused vision with the more recent episodes, but like you can't deny Russell knows how to write Doctor Who. We've just got to hope that he doesn't like bring back, I don't know, you've brought back Omega and Sutek as giant CGI creatures. Who next could he destroy the legacy of? I'm trying to think, there's got to be another iconic classic Who villain that hasn't returned yet that he could turn into a giant CGI creature. Fingers crossed not, though. We'll hold out hope. Looking forward to season 3, etc. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well, to be honest. Look, I love Doctor Who. I'm just glad that it's surviving. Who could play the Doctor in the new CBeebies animated series? That's a pretty cool question, because I reckon the best actor to play the Doctor for the CBeebies series that's already played the Doctor, who would actually come back, would by far be Jodie Whittaker. Like, even her costume as well. Not that it's like, oh, that's for kids, but she was so good at mastering that side of the Doctor. Like, that video she did in lockdown, where she, like, hid in a cupboard and was like, oh no, there's Sontarans coming. Like, that, I don't know why I'm still Northern. That was great. And if I were making the CBeebies show, I'd be like, yeah, Jodie Whittaker, come back and do that. That'd be cool. Someone suggested Colin Baker there as well. That would be pretty cool. David Tennant as well, because it's David Tennant, so, you know, he'll do anything Doctor Who related. Jo Martin deserves more screen time, but I wouldn't like to see her on CBeebies. I'd rather see her in the actual show. Cybus Industries employee says, give me more days like this. I know, it's weird as well, because to be doing a live stream after making a news video, and the fandom seems like it's finally awoken from like a prolonged nap. Like, obviously I've been making videos, but I've done a couple of non-Doctor Who related videos because Doctor Who news has been so scarce recently. But I feel like we've jumped back to like May. We're in full Doctor Who gear, it's exciting times. Peter Capaldi voicing over a CBeebies show would go hard. It would. Maybe him, not doing a Malcolm Tucker-esque thing would be idea. Imagine Eccleston and Russell T Davies have secretly made amends and he comes back. That would be one of the most insane plot twists in world history ever. And I'd be here for it. Imagine, like, Eccleston and Piper back on Christmas Day. That would be insane. It's not going to happen. It's not happening. But how cool would that be? Does this mean the Disney Plus era will end up being lost media outside of the UK? Disney ain't keeping it up there when there's nothing else coming and no other streamers can have it because it's Disney. That's a good question. I hadn't even considered that, but like, how do the rights work there? Because, I don't know. What do people in the chat think? Because you are right, Disney aren't going to be like, oh yeah, just have this show we poured money into for free. But I reckon they'll keep it on Disney Plus. I reckon, they won't take it down. Maybe. Probably not. I reckon it'll stay on Disney Plus for a good while, but maybe eventually it'll become lost media-ish. I mean, it will still obviously exist in the UK and on iPlayer, and maybe the BBC will buy back the rights. But it's gonna be bizarre to have, like, Billie Piper's tenure, if you can call it that, start direct, like picking up off a cliffhanger that you can only watch on a different streaming service. I think the moral of the story is Disney Plus have absolutely messed this up. I mean, to be fair, it's not just Disney Plus. There's a multitude of reasons. This is that there's not one thing or person you can blame for the way Doctor Who's gone on as of recent, but Disney Plus, they've messed them around. It's been a messy divorce for Doctor Who and Disney Plus. They've been fighting over the kids, the war between the land and the sea, and they've finally, I don't know, done what they'll do with it. But let's get back to reading the chat. Someone says they don't want Billie Piper as the Doctor. Why not? I feel like she'd be quite good. I mean, I say why not because it's nostalgia baiting. That's completely justified. But I don't know. I think Yeah, I really don't know. I don't know. It's a 50-50. Eddie asks, how long will the podcast be? Is that the Satellite 5 podcast, which is coming back on either tomorrow, the day after, or the day after that? It's got to come out before Halloween because it's a Halloween special. The remnants of my makeshift Halloween costume Doctor Who thing are actually on the floor. I won't spoil it. There is a preview over on my Instagram, on the Confused Adipose Instagram, if you want to go and check that out. But Satellite 5 podcast, one episode, one special Halloween one, will be with you within the next few days. And by the sounds of it, because our plan was to bring it back whenever The War Between the Land and the Sea comes out, that sounds like it's going to be relatively soon. So I reckon, yeah, Halloween episode of podcast within the next couple of days, then War Between the Land and the Sea coverage on the podcast relatively soon. So stay tuned for that. Would you like to have been a fly on the wall with this Disney meeting and the BBC and RTD? That would have been so much fun. I really want, like, you know how they do the classic series box sets? They have like these behind the sofa things where you just sit down and the cast and the crew and the producers, directors, etc. talk about it and just let it all come out. And everyone just goes, this is what happened. I really want that for this era. I want to know everything that happened. I mean, Carol Ann Ford, I mentioned it in a video the other day, so yeah, this was the original ending of the reality war, but for reasons that I can't state, it didn't happen. Like, I want to know what happened. What was the original ending? Will we ever see the original ending? Who knows? John Thomas asks, are you done with your fan film? I was editing it today. This is actually slowing down production of the fan film. Blame the BBC because, yeah, it's on schedule. We've set the premiere date for the cast and crew to watch. I don't know when the film itself is going to release. No, you know what? If all things go to plan, it will be out in December. The premiere is set for the 6th of December currently. We've got all the cast. I can't tell whether the live stream just froze. Did it freeze? Let me know, because everything seems to be glitching on my end. But yeah, it's coming relatively soon, the fan film, in case you missed it. Next year's special, a special appearance from a previous Doctor, maybe 8. Yeah, I feel like if there is any other Doctor, I know I keep saying it, it's going to be David Tennant. Welcome, Shadow Jedi Knight, to the Adipose tier. Appreciate it. Welcome. As ever, guys, if you want to become a member of the channel, please feel free. You get your name in certain credits of certain videos, like the long form ones, and on the Echo films, you'll get your name in the credits. But yeah, I've completely lost my train of thought. Dude, if the Rani who bi-generated died, then doesn't that mean the Rani will die with Mrs. Flood because the Time Lords that died can't regenerate again? That's a good point. Will the Rani come back? I feel like Mrs. Flood's got to come back. If we're going on the basis, as I said earlier, of this special may be the end of Russell's tenure as showrunner, he's got to wrap up Susan, Mrs. Flood, Billy Piper's face, what a weird sentence, and the boss, whatever the boss arc is, and probably more that I'm forgetting, which is a lot to, like, wrap up in one big Christmas special. I wonder if the BBC are just going to chuck loads of money at it, because it's got to be successful. Like, if like the viewing figures for the Gavin and Stacey Christmas special were insane. So the BBC is going to be like, oh, look at the algorithms. If we bring back fan favourite people, fan favourite things, and do a big Christmas special, that'll get us the views, which is probably where they're headed with Doctor Who. Shadow Jedi Knight says, what if they actually cast Jenna Coleman as Susan? That would be so cool. I did see, if you haven't already, guys, go and watch the documentary thing that Josh Snares and Crispy Pro made. It's so good, their interview with Carol Ann Ford. Like, it's a peak YouTube video, so there's my recommendation. Susan better be in this special, says Cybus Industries. I agree. They've got to, like, I just feel so sorry that she was cut out of the reality war. I mean, in a way, it's for the better, because that ending where she reveals that she's Poppy's daughter and that's how she met the Doctor and all of it. Like, that's a really weird, controversial ending, which I think a lot of people wouldn't have been happy with. So in the long run, if we do, like, I just want to see the Doctor and Susan meet. I kind of think it was a missed opportunity in Twice Upon a Time not to have the Doctor go back and see Susan. Like, he's just seen his first face, he's deciding to continue, goes back and finally sees Susan. Like, Josh Snares should be cast as Susan's son. Yeah, let's get the petition started. He doesn't really need to wrap up those stories, especially Susan. I don't know, I kind of feel like there's, like, Susan has got to crop up again. Like, you can't just leave it at that. Like, why did she keep popping up out of nowhere? Max's World says, if Danny Dyer got cast to be after 16th to be the 17th Doctor, I would cry, even if it was Shane Ritchie. In case anyone doesn't know, I'm the Doctor in my own series. It's so fun, ask me anything. That's a lot in one comment. Danny Dyer as the Doctor would be Dyer, but yeah, I'm not here for Danny Dyer as the Doctor. Shane Ritchie, I don't actually know who that is. The name rings a bell. I'm probably being stupid. Let's catch up with the chat. As ever, guys, no obligation, but if you do want me to definitely read your message, please feel free to super chat. It helps me keep the lights on. This ring light here, directly funding. I need a new one, because as you've noticed in all my live streams since season 2 coverage, this ring light is currently balanced on a candle, which is a great setup we have here. Very professional, very pro. Shane is an EastEnders geezer. Ah, I see. There's the EastEnders fans in the chat. There's always a strange Doctor Who EastEnders, like, crossover. I mean, there is literally a Doctor Who EastEnders crossover, but like a overlap of fandoms. Matty Brown suggests Tharies as the Doctor. Yeah, that's what the world needs. Oh, here's a shout. Dr. Master says David Cornsweat for the Doctor. Please, if he does a British accent, Superman contract... Where's it gone? If he does a British accent, Superman contract, and after 10 years, it's enough time for the show to get big. David Cornsweat as the Doctor would be so cool. I mean, Stephen Moffat talked about, and like, I think he gave a tiny review on James Gunn's Superman film, but like, I watched it the other day with some people, and like, I think that was my 3rd time watching it. It is Doctor Who. It's just Doctor Who with a little bit of punching. Like, his whole thing, like his whole speech to Lex Luthor, that is such pure Doctor energy. So, the only thing is he too handsome to be the Doctor? Because I feel like the Doctor's got to be a little bit weird. Like, the Doctor's got to be a little bit quirky. And I feel like he doesn't have the quirkier aspects as such. Maybe I'm wrong. Shadow Jedi Knight says, I wish they bring back not only Susan for a return, I want them to bring back K9. That would be cool. Did you know, fun fact, K9 also almost came back during the Chibnall era. Chibnall wanted K9, but they couldn't quite secure the rights. Jenny, the Doctor's daughter, I wouldn't be against it, but like, I don't know. I feel like that ship sailed. River Song as well. I feel like I love her ending. That wraps it up. Yeah, I'd like seeing River Song again, but I don't think we need to see her again, if that makes sense. Yes, he does watch his interviews. Okay, I will... There's a video of him quoting a whole Star Wars scene. He can do nerdy weirdness. Okay, I'll need to do some David Cornsweat research, and then I'll get back to this. Whenever the next live stream is, I'll come in with a conclusion of whether he should play the Doctor. Will you do videos on Stranger Things when it comes out? Well, Eddie, you are in luck if all goes to plan. I've currently got thumbnails for a Stranger Things video, another Oz video, another 2 Oz videos, in fact. A video on a film called Threads, which is completely unlike my normal content, but I watched that film the other day. I don't know if any of you guys have watched Threads. It's insane. So I've written a script for a video about that. So there's a bunch of non-Doctor Who, but obviously you've still got all the Doctor Who videos coming on this channel, so you don't need to send me emails like happened with my Back to the Future video. I was getting angry emails from people going, Joe, I don't think you've noticed, but this isn't Doctor Who. No, I am aware. I am aware it wasn't a Doctor Who video. We have a super chat, though, a very generous super chat from D. Lee. Thank you very much to D. Lee for the super chat, who says, almost certainly will be David Tennant. They're gonna pull on every string they possibly could and make it as big as possible. Get as many viewers as possible, then start from there. 100% agree. I mean, it's the exact same method and plan as the 60th, basically. Lure in a huge audience with David Tennant and then build new stuff from there. So, hopefully, they'll do that and not start with a story involving space babies. Fingers crossed. Or singing goblins, which I don't even mind, but I just think in the eyes of the general public or a new audience, they're going to be so confused. So, yeah, I think that's probably their strategy, bringing back David Tennant, pulling on all those strings. But whether it'll work, we can only hope. We'll find out in time. We'll find out in time. The Doctor needs to stay British. See, I thought that for quite a long time, but I don't know. To still have the British eccentricity and quirkiness, but I don't know. I feel like basically anyone can play the Doctor. But it's got to be good. What a nuanced opinion from me there, an insightful opinion. I'm American, and the Doctor, like James Bond, needs to be British. Yeah, I think it's a very common thing that people believe, but I don't know. I feel like there is potential. Not anyone. Not like when I say anyone can play the Doctor, I don't mean like any random, you can't just walk up to a bloke on the street and be like, you are the next Doctor. But I don't know, I feel like that the spirit of the Doctor exists within so many different people or actors that you could kind of go with. I know Whoopi Goldberg always said she wanted to be the Doctor. I'm not advocating for that, by the way, but imagine. Just some random Scottish person to be the next Doctor. Yeah, I mean, just run up to some random person in the street and be like, boom. Bet and Cheese says, I thought the Goblins was just a Disney idea. See, I get why people think that, but I don't think it was. I think that was exactly, Russell did what he wanted to do. And there's a book called Exterminate, Regenerate by a guy called John Higgs, who's a fantastic author, by the way. Go and check out his stuff. He's done a David Lynch book recently as well. But in Exterminate, Regenerate, he analyses the 15th Doctor's era, and it actually kind of made me appreciate it more. It's in one of the final chapters. I don't know if any of you guys have read it, but I do see the vision that Russell was going for. I get what he was trying to do, but I just think the streaming model collapsed after this era began, which is nobody's fault. The TV industry's in a mess. The Trump presidency, it's just everything's a mess at the moment. So I think, yeah, Doctor Who's difficult. Eddie asks, was Millie Gibson fired or was that all fake news? I don't think she was fired at all. There was definitely a lot of fake news and just misogynistic reporting around it of oh, she's a diva, oh, she's all that. There was a lot of fake news around it, but I think from what I've heard at least, she stepped down earlier than initially intended. There was, definitely something, not necessarily a fight, or it might not have been anything bad, but she left the show earlier than intended. Because as I say, if you have any of the DVDs of the season 2, behind the scenes features, in the Robot Revolution commentary, Russell talks about how he envisaged that episode as he basically says a Christmas special with a one-off guest star. So someone like Miranda Hart, not Miranda Hart, is that the YouTuber? What's her name? Miranda from Miranda, the BBC show. I feel like Miranda Hart's the YouTuber. I think. Not the YouTuber, but the person who plays Miranda. Miranda who plays Miranda. Someone like her would have been a guest companion for a comedic Christmas special where she gets a star named after her, she's taken into space, the Doctor gets her home. It's just a one-off special. that was the original plan for Robot Revolution, but then Millie Gibson leaves early, right? So Russell goes, panic, I don't know what to do. He calls in Stephen Moffat last minute and goes, can you please write Joy to the World? Just fill the gap for this Christmas special. I've got to write a new companion in. I don't have time to complete the Christmas special. So Russell then changes that plan to be, rather than a Christmas special, episode 1 of season 2, and rather than a one-off guest star, he introduces a new companion. So that is what I think happened behind the scenes. From all the pieces of evidence I've heard and can piece together, I think that's what happened. Everyone's spamming such fun in the chat. The wonderful Miranda quote. I don't know if I've talked about Miranda on this channel, but I've got a rocky relationship with that show, because when I was a child, Artie from the Satellite 5 podcast, we were at his house, and on the TV he'd put on Miranda, and then he'd fallen to sleep, and none of us wanted to like turn the TV off for some. I don't know. We were kids. We were like, oh, we can't get up. Something bad will happen. I don't know. So we just had to sort of sit there for about 4 hours as every episode of Miranda played on loop, which is completely irrelevant to this video, but that sort of traumatized me away from watching Miranda. Maybe I need to give it a rewatch now that, like, I don't know, that must have been like 10 years ago. But Rupert for the Doctor. Who's Rupert? Oh, Rupert Grint, Ron Weasley. Yeah. Let the Doctor be a ginger. Why not? That'll be cool. To be honest, I really enjoyed Joy to the World way more than the Church on Ruby Road, says Shadow Jedi Knight. Fair enough. I didn't think it was bad. I quite liked the dialogue and the funness of it, but I didn't think it did anything especially noticeable. D. Lee says, also, did you see that the BRB updated all its figures from January 2024 onwards, so Series 14 and 15 7-day figures were actually slightly higher than we thought? I updated the wiki. I did not know that. That's very interesting. Thank you for letting me know. I'll check that out afterwards. I might mention that in a news video. That's quite cool, actually. Harry Melling for the Doctor. That is Patrick Troughton's grandson, right? Let me Google it. I think I'm right. Harry Melling. Yes, it is Dudley from Harry Potter and Patrick Troughton's grandson. He'd be cool. Why not? Do we get robot Santas again, says Charlie Hill. See, that's the real question here. I reckon we will. It's Russell. Russell loves his robot Santas at Christmas. Why not? Chuck in a couple of robot Santas. I got confused and thought you meant Rupert from Family Guy. I don't know who Rupert from Family Guy is. Here's 2 of my proposed actors for a future version of the Doc. Stephen McGann. That would be funny, but why not just get Paul McGann? And Mark Bonner. I know. Oh, that's the guy from Traitors, isn't it? Mark Bonner, I think. Yeah. I was literally watching Traitors this morning, but as I got the notification that Doctor Who was coming back. I don't think he'd be a great Doctor. Imagine the companion goes and he's just slamming the table, yelling, get in Jonathan Ross as the companion. Colin Morgan as the Doctor, maybe. I mean, I suggested that back in lockdown for my OG Showrunner Adipose video, before the actual Showrunner Adipose video. I was like, Colin Morgan and Lydia West as the companion. That would be a cool combo. Sue Perkins would be an interesting Doctor. Sue Perkins. I know the name. I don't know. Is she an actor? Alan Carr as the Doctor. Oh, yes. Great. Alan Carr in Doctor Who would be amazing. He is by far the best person to ever go on the Traitors ever. Alan Carr as the meddling monk wearing his Traitors hoodie. It would be so peak. That would genuinely be such good television. It needs to happen. Look, guys, I think we should start a petition, send it to the BBC, get Alan Carr as the meddling monk in his Traitors cloak. Saw a Reddit discussion that Ncuti was miscast. What do you think of that? I don't think there's ever been a miscast as for someone playing the Doctor. I do, however, think with, for example, like Whittaker's incarnation or sometimes Shuty's incarnation, the writing didn't play to their strengths, or at least the interpretation that they gave wasn't like. Oh, forever, if you haven't seen, I did a video ranking all the Doctors, and I did a little edit of some of Jodie Whittaker's stage performances with the 13th Doctor music in the background. Genuinely, like, I remember watching the recording of her in, I can't remember what the play's called, but she literally, like, it's one of the best Doctor speeches ever, and she's not even playing the Doctor. Like, she channeled the Doctor so well in that, and it just makes me, like, it's a shame she wasn't given that writing when on Doctor Who. And I think it's the same with Shooty. Like, I notice I prefer Shooty's incarnation when he's written by Stephen Moffat, which is weird because obviously it's a Russell T Davies creation, but like Joy to the World when he's just like a little weirdo in his dressing gown, getting his coffee, like walking around, that is my favourite version of the 15th Doctor, and I really wish they played more into that. So I don't think he was miscast. I don't think there's ever been a bad casting as the Doctor, but I don't think the writing always played to his strengths, which is a shame. Right, where are we? 15 had no personality and he was always in hero mode. Yeah, see, this is the thing. I think he needed more, like, fleshing out. And there was something about in the Interstellar Song, from what I've heard behind the scenes, right? Ncuti asked Russell and wanted to take the Doctor in a darker direction, and that's why at the end of the Interstellar Song Contest it was written that way. But like, you could have taken him in a different direction without, because there's something. It's unironically, like, I don't want to bash the performers because people always talk about. I think he's called Freddie. Is it? No, something Fox. Is it Fred? I don't know. No, it's whatever the actor's called. I can't remember his name. The guy who plays the villain in the Interstellar Song Contest, right? Him talking with the 15th Doctor down that screen where Ncuti like, I'm really angry with you, grr, and he's like, oh, Doctor, it's one of the cringiest Doctor villain confrontations I think I've ever seen, and it's just like, they're both very talented actors. How does that happen? Like, people love them. They are very good in other things, but I just think the writing really needed to, like, blend their styles and their strengths better. Yes, it's Freddie Fox, apparently. Yeah, see, I said the name and then I was like, that sounds like a fake name, but no, apparently that is his name. Connor says, Joe, who is your favourite Doctor Who director? Bring back Graham Harper. I love Graham Harper. Not that long ago, I actually managed to speak to Graham Harper for a prolonged period of time, and he is the loveliest man ever. Like, Graham Harper is so nice, and because obviously, like, I'd love to get into TV production, etc. So I was just chatting with him, and he was just, there's so many good stories. He's so lovely. Graham Harper is definitely one of the best Doctor Who directors of all time, without doubt. Like, he's done the classics, he's done the modern classics, he's great. Right, how long did your long night of sound editing go, says Dan BYT official. That's so Echo's Destiny is currently basically done. I'm just editing all of the sound, and I say basically that it's a massive task. Like, every time a Dalek twitches their eye stalk, I've got to add in the sound, and every time a Cyberman raises its arm or stomps, I've got to put in all the sounds. Every time a button's pressed on the console of the TARDIS, sound effects. There are so many sound effects, it's insane. But no, it was good fun. Yeah, it went well. It went well, thank you very much. RTD posted on Insta. What did he say? I was wondering about this because, yeah, let's see if I can get onto Instagram on my computer. Or if it's going to go, no, you're signed out, there. No, congrats, it's gone, no, you're signed out, there. Does someone want to relay what RTD said in his post? Was it just like a nice, we're back? Because, yeah, I really want to know whether he's staying for a long time. Always get Graham Harper and Gareth Roberts confirmed. They are very different people. I was not having a lovely chat with Gareth Roberts. Don't you worry. He made a joke about Christmas titles. Ooh. Nicholas Hoult as the Master would cook. Yes, it would. I mean, seeing Nicholas Hoult in any role that isn't is his name Tony from Skins is always weird to me. Like when watching Superman, I'm just like, that's Tony from Skins. But no, he would be good. Someone said, where's it gone? Ben Lowell should be the Master in the actual show. I agree. Come on, guys, start the petition. He is an actor. He is actually an actor now. He's graduated from university. Give it a couple of years. The show needs to get him in. He would be amazing. Whoa, there's a lot here. I'm trying to find people's messages. Once again, I'll do my annoying reminder. If you want a super chat, feel free. It helps me definitely read your message. As I said that, someone super chatted. Wonderful. Shout out to... oh no, where's it gone? There it is. Old Web Shooter, thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Very generous. Old Web Shooter says, RTD wrote Queer as Folk, Cucumber, and It's a Sin. Have you seen them? How could his writing been seen as so good but then faulted with Doctor Who? It's a Sin is amazing. He also wrote Bob and Rose, amazing. The Second Coming is probably, other than Doctor Who, my favourite thing Russell has ever written. It's his original thing with Chris Eccleston from, I think, 2003. The year I was born, in fact. But yeah, he is an amazing writer. I just think that this era, I get the vision they were going for, and I don't think it quite worked. I think it's a shame because, as you say, Queer as Folk, I need to watch Queer as Folk properly. Like, I've never fully seen it, but he is such a talented writer. You are right. Like, he's so good. It is bizarre, and it's why when everyone's like, "Oh, sack Russell, get rid of him," I'm like, no, I know that the guy who wrote The Second Coming, the original run of New Who, It's a Sin, Years and Years, Bob and Rose, like, that guy can write some of the best TV ever made. Like, I will back Russell because I know he is qualified to do this. So, yeah, I just hope that he brings that energy into this new era of Doctor Who. I mean, I was saying the other day, I don't know, I can't remember whether I've said this in a video, but in a way, I kind of think that the season 2 finale was what I'd like to call the Russell Lord Victorious, right? So, you know how in The Waters of Mars, the Doctor's has that moment where Adelaide Brooke, I'm not going to get demonetized, does what she does, the big flashing light, and he goes, "I've gone too far." He has that dramatic moment in the snow. He's like, "Oh no, I've gone too far. I need to improve." I feel like that is what happened to Russell at the end of the reality war. I think the Russell Lord Victorious happened, and now he's back. We're in the end of time. He's like, okay, let's go back to being the Doctor. Let's go back. At least that's how I'm coping. I hope that's what happened. Stephen Moffat as the 17th Doctor. What a plot twist that would be. Cybus Industries employee says he said, "Away in a danger, silent blind. Hark the weeping angels sing, oh come all ye Nymon." Oh, I love Russell. What a man. Who do you think will be the new streamer? Do you think they'll get Classic Who? Do you think they'll get New Who and The Land Between? I don't know if there will be a new streamer. There might be, there might not be. If there is, I have no idea, to be honest. It could kind of go any way. I don't think it'll be Netflix, maybe Amazon. But I don't know if the BBC are going to want to risk it because this Disney partnership sort of fell through quite dramatically, and I don't think that's the that's the trajectory Doctor Who's going on. I don't think it is. So yeah, maybe it'll turn around. Shout out and big thanks to Terry Hobbs 3. Thank you very much, Terry, for the super chat. Really appreciate it. There's no message with it. If you want to ask a question or anything, Terry, pop it in the chat and I'll make sure to answer it. But yeah, thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. The thing that interests me is Russell has agreed to write it. Agreed. So was he planning on leaving? This is what I mean. It does sound like he might be thinking of wrapping it all up. Like I could see this special being a big goodbye to Tennant, to Piper, to Russell, to Mrs. Flood, to whatever the hell the boss is, and chucking in Susan, and then starting completely fresh with a completely new vision for Doctor Who. I could see that happening, but who knows? Who knows? If they sign up with a new partner, it must be a per Doctor contract of 3 seasons. Yeah, I think so, because it just... Yeah, the Shooty thing is such a shame. Yeah, the Master's Tooth's a thing as well. Yeah. Yeah, it is a shame. It is a shame. Oh, Terry, I meant to say something with my message. There it is. Thank you very much, Terry, for the super chat. Terry says, do you think that Billy Piper will be the next Doctor? Also, I think that they should at least let Susan reunite with whoever is the next Doctor. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think Billy Piper, I think, is going to be a merge between Rose and the Doctor. I don't think it's quite as simple as she is just the Doctor. I think the fact that Jane Tranter said in that interview the other day, Russell left this tease of Billy Piper playing Rose Tyler. Maybe she just misspoke, but if anyone's going to know what the plan is, it's Tranter. So, yeah, I think she's a bit the Doctor, but not quite the Doctor. I think, yeah, and then... Absolutely. There needs to be a reunion with Susan. Like, you can't tease her like you did in the, what episode? The Interstellar Song Contest and then Wish World and Reality War. Like, yeah, absolutely. I agree, Terry. Bring back Susan. Wrap that up properly. Sort that all out. Thank you very much to the Immortal Zombie for the super chat. Thank you very much. The Immortal Zombie says, Simon Pegg as the Master. Thoughts? It would be so peak. I know he's been in Doctor Who already. I know that he was, what's he called, the editor in Series 1. But imagine him in his, like, Gary King get-up from The World's End, with that sort of attitude. He would be such a good Master. Simon Pegg, to be honest, would, like, he'd play anything brilliantly in Doctor Who. I feel like he was absolutely wasted in Series 1. So... yeah, it'd be so good. Fingers crossed. We can only hope. We can only hope. If any Doctor should reunite with Susan other than Shooty, it should be David Tennant. I'm sorry, or Capaldi, but that won't happen. Yeah, Capaldi would be my number 1 pick to reunite with Susan. That'd be so good. Because, like, she'll call him grandfather, and that's quite sweet. But I suppose David Tennant's getting on a bit nowadays. He's got to be, like, what, 50-something? Let's Google David Tennant's age. David Tennant. I didn't put in age, I just put David Tennant. Great, nice one. 54 years. Give David Tennant another however many years, and then he can be the grandfather. I mean, he could be a grandfather now. We've got a super chat here. Thank you very much to Cosmic J Bird. Cosmic J Bird says, check out Ian de Cassiter, did amazing work in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., literally played a character called the Doctor. I keep being recommended Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I have promised Elise from the Satellite 5 podcast that I will eventually watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Anyone who's watched it, tell me in the live chat, is it actually worth watching? Because I'll watch it, you know, eventually, one day. If I'm convinced by this live chat, I'll bump it up in my watching list and maybe make a video on it eventually. We've got the whole spectrum here. Cybus Industries employee says it's crap. Cosmic J Bird says it's fantastic. Jupo says no. Rock says no. Oh dear. I am still gonna watch it though. I'll watch it eventually. I will watch it eventually. It's pretty good. See, there we go. There's positive reviews coming in. Yeah, it would be cool. I will watch it eventually. But yeah, once I've watched it, I can answer whether that guy should play the Doctor. Tennant is Hartnell's age. That is a very good point, and that is also mental. That's crazy to me. Just mad. Shout out to Jacob Crowson for the super chat. Thank you very much, Jacob Crowson. Jacob says the laser screwdriver or the tissue compression eliminator for the Master's Return. Tissue compression eliminator. Hands down, that is one of my favourite fictional weapons of all time. I will always remember watching Legopolis for the first time and just the cliffhanger where it's like, is she called Aunt Vanessa? Tegan's aunt is in the car and she's been shrunken down to like a little doll. Like, that's just so fun. And I love in Series 12 the reveal of the Master when he's got him in a little matchstick box and he's like, ooh, shrunk him down to size, and he chucks the box away. So, tissue compression eliminator. The laser screwdriver is cool, but it's kind of just like, what if we had a sonic screwdriver, but it was evil? So, it's not as cool. It's still fun though. But yeah, I vote. My vote is tissue compression eliminator. What would you go for, Jacob? What have we got going on here? Do you own Magic the Gathering Doctor Who cards? I do. They are here somewhere. I'm not just disappearing from the camera. They're definitely in this room. I got sent them to review when they came out. I'm not going to lie, I don't have a clue how to play Magic the Gathering. I don't have a clue, but I know a bunch of my mates love the game, and as I say, they sent them to me to review, and I did a little review if you want to check out my shorts, because they are so cool, the cards. I just actually need to understand how to play the game, and then I will play Doctor Who Magic the Gathering, but they are cool. I wonder what Nerdrotic or Babyface says about Doctor Who continuing. Something good, right? Right? Probably not, because I don't think they have anything good to say. Even if they were happy for Doctor Who to return, they're not going to say it because it won't make them money. Like, all they care about on those live streams is just generating anger from people in fandoms so that they can go, oh, and watch my video, etc. So, yeah. Paying attention to their channels, just anyone who actually watches them, like, unironically. I don't want to start beef, but, like, come on, guys, come on. Joe, what costume are you wearing in the Halloween episode of the podcast? I've got two at different times. I won't reveal them. You'll have to wait and see. Actually, on my Instagram story, there is a preview of one of them. Here's a fun little challenge. If anyone goes to my Instagram story and looks at my Satellite 5 podcast post that I've put on my story, see if you can guess what my costume is. It's a terrible costume, so you might not be able to guess it, but the challenge was to make a costume out of something within this room, so you'll see it on my Instagram story. See if anyone can guess what it is. Oh, wait, I see some screwdrivers in the background. Could we see them? Yes, I do. I have a cup of sonic screwdrivers and a little mug, courtesy of my grandma, with the confused Adipose printed on it, which is quite cool. Got the 14th Doctor's one, a broken 13th Doctor. Whoa. This one, which doesn't flick open. I remember getting this from Toys R Us as a kid, and I was so disappointed that it doesn't do the flicky open thing. I do have the, open one somewhere. 12th Doctor's, then, I'm going to lose my Doctor Who fan card. I think that's the 4th Doctor's screwdriver, or 5th Doctor's. I'm going with 5th Doctor's. Someone will correct me in the live chat, or send me an aggressive email. I don't know why, I keep getting emails these days. When people are unhappy with videos, they email me going, Joe, I am deeply disappointed in da-da-da-da-da. So shout out to all the emailers out there. Imagine they changed the sonic screwdriver for the Billie Piper Doctor. I think that's got a realistic chance of happening. I don't think she'll keep 15s. I can't lie. Here it is. 15s is just, it's not ideal. It's fun. It's a fun toy, which the batteries don't work in anymore. Hello. But no, I feel like the Billie Piper Doctor should have a new screwdriver entirely. What does that mean on iPlayer? The chat is currently lagging. There we go. Hello, I love all your videos. Been watching you since your first Doctor interrupting 12's regeneration theory. I'm trying to become a YouTuber too. That is crazy. That's 2017. That was my first video that ever actually got over like 1,000 views. I think it's on like 20,000 now. But that's mad. I'm glad you've been around since 2017. Yeah, hope you're enjoying the videos. You're trying to become a YouTuber. Link, comment on this, and if I forget to see it, comment on another video with a link to your channel, and I'll check it out. I love. Also, if anyone here makes fan films or anything, comment them in the comments because I love watching Doctor Who fan films. I don't know why. Like it's. I have like an addiction to it. I know all the lore of most Doctor Who fan films. Comment your Doctor Who creations in the comments of this video or live stream or my latest video because I'll probably check the comments of that somewhere. Let me see them. It'll be cool. The battery went in yours too. Yeah, the batteries in these. Everyone was saying like they've just died after like a year. It's disgraceful. Cybus Industries employee. I've written an episode for TARDIS Productions Who Do fan series. I saw the trailer for that and it looks pretty cool. Is it out yet or is it not out yet? I definitely saw the trailer for it. Best news all day, says Purple Hair Guy. It is. It's exciting. Doctor Who's survived. You should play Peter in the Hunger Games. I've watched the Hunger Games. Is that who I think it is? I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm planning to write a fan fiction season soon. Very cool. Very cool. Out on Saturday. Nice. Noted. Thank you. Would you trade being 50 years older to have seen the classic run of the first time around, which of course would mean you'd have seen all the missing episodes? No. I would stay at the age I am now because I feel like not all of them, but a bunch of them are going to show up from private collections, from all the whisperings of Film is Fabulous, etc. And also, I think, yeah, I don't know. I want to see the future of Doctor Who because I can still enjoy the classics, but yeah, New Who's the era I grew up in, and I'm happy about that. That's nice. I think you'd make a good Batman. Well, I hope you're not casting any films because I don't think I'd be an excellent Batman. I can't lie. I think. Who's your number one pick for new showrunner? I don't know. Maybe Sally Wainwright. Sally Wainwright is a brilliant writer. She did Happy Valley. She's also friends with Russell. I think they went to school together or something, or college, or. But yeah, I want someone new to write Doctor Who stuff. I mean, Pete McTighe, he'd be quite good, I suppose. Yeah, who knows? I don't think my comments are going through. I've done the maths and we're in the longest gap except the wilderness years, including season 22 to season 23, says Sarah Glover. Are we? That's mad if we are. What a milestone to be living through in Doctor Who land. Thank you, Sarah. It's a shame, isn't it? It's a shame. Confused Adipose for showrunner. Yeah, I'll get behind that. That would be great fun. I'd probably get more hate than Russell, but it would be fun, wouldn't it? It would be fun. Do you know the USA fan film of Doctor Who? Is that the title? I've seen a bunch of USA fan film doctors. Like I know the Doctor Who Velocity Doctor. She's from the US of A. Inua Ellams commenting yes under the Instagram post, new showrunner. He would be good. He is a very good writer. The only thing is, I do think he, what's it called? Story in the Engine needed to be a little bit more structured. Like, that man can write the Barbershop Chronicles, I think it's called, the play. Like, that's critically acclaimed. So, yeah, I hope he can write more Doctor Who in the future. We have a super chat here. When my computer decides to load, we'll be able to read that. Thank you to Rob Del Tony. Thank you very much, Rob, for the super chat. Rob says, tips for creating images for a what if if I were showrunner, if I were Doctor Who showrunner, sorry, I've just temporarily forgotten how to read. Tips for creating images for if I were Doctor Who showrunner video. I have ideas, but how to create images for the episode escapes me, brackets, no AI. I'm glad you've said no AI there, because yeah, AI is it's the lazy way out of this thing. But tips for creating images, I don't know, just open like Photoshop or PixArt. That's a good if you want to do it off your phone. That's a good app for that. Just yeah, I don't know. It's sort of trial and error. Like your first realm of Photoshop, like at least I found this, like it's always bad. Like they never look great. But the more you put time into investing in something, and the more you grow a skill of something, the better it will be. Like I know that sounds self-explanatory, but yeah, I don't think there's any lens flares actually. That was always my favorite thing when creating like just because it's the lighting that always throws off images. Really focus on the lighting. If you're trying to put like an actor's head onto the Doctor's body for like this is a post regeneration or a what if or something along those lines, focus on the lighting. The lighting's always the biggest giveaway of yeah, like Photoshop stuff. I'm just gonna close the blinds here because I've just become well aware, because it's only 5:30 and it's already pitch black outside, and I've just got all the lights on as I look out the window. Where are we? Mallory Blackman should write more Doctor Who. Agreed. She only wrote a bit of Rosa, I think. Well, like she co-wrote it with Chris Chibnall, but she is such a good writer. Like Noughts and Crosses, that whole series is banging. There's a book that nobody ever talks about. I think it's called Antidote by Mallory Blackman that I read as a kid. Antidote. Mallory. Yeah, Antidote is such a good book. Like as a kid, that was just so yeah, if she could bring that energy to writing some Doctor Who, I would be here for it. What other writers do you guys want to see in Doctor Who? AI videos can be lazy, but only if it's prompt and done. If it's there to create elements and composite it, it's at least better. Yeah, I agree. I think the AI debate it's a very difficult one, because it's not as simple as just like all AI is completely evil and doom laden. But yeah, it's difficult, because I think when it's just like AI slop replacing actual artists, it's bad. Like generative AI, I think is the problem. But obviously you've got like medical stuff. It can like help solve problems like that. Hopefully it can help solve climate change eventually. But then it's also causing it's such a mess. It's a mess. But yeah, I think there's instances where it can actually help, but there's a lot of instances where it just destroys creativity and steals hardworking people's jobs. So it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. Would you prefer a serialized Flux style series or a more traditional New Who leaning structure? Flux style serialized. I'm gonna go with. I think yeah, Doctor Who needs to shake it up a little bit, do something new. I say new, it's copy and Flux, but that's the way of modern TV. So yeah, I think they need to change it up. This username wasn't taken somehow. Says, what's your favourite sci-fi film? This is an excellent opportunity to plug my second to latest video, Back to the Future. Back to the Future, I think, is one of the best films ever made. Sci-fi film, elite. Obviously, Star Wars is great. Terminator's great. It's a load of great sci-fi films, but Back to the Future's got to be the all-timer. If it's Christmas Day, it's 1 year, 5 months, and 25 days, which is longer than season 22 to 23, or Power of the Doctor to the Star Beast. True, but if we're including the War Between the Land and the Sea, maybe that shifts it. No, Doctor Who is Monster of the Week, says Cybus Industries. Well, this is why the Flux structure works perfectly, because I get where you're coming from. But if you have a big overarching story that goes from like one episode focused on angels to Sontarans to Daleks, that can still flow Flux style and have like a primary monster of the week thing. So yeah, that's how it should flow. Like, it should be a lot more interconnected. Like, I love that the Sontarans are beefing the Daleks and then beefing the Cybermen and all of this. Like, that flows brilliantly. RTD writes himself as the new big bad. Makes no sense, but it would be funny. It would be funny, to be fair. Be honest, have you got nightmares of a Doctor Who episode? If so, which one? Well, do I have the Satellite 5 podcast for you? Scariest Doctor Who moments discussed on that podcast coming out in the next couple of days. Stay tuned for that. I agree. A season with more episodes on a lower budget is best for character development. Yeah, true. Petrol for the new companion, says Rox. Petrol, it's absolutely marvellous. Howard Overman as showrunner. Robert Sheehan as the Doctor. Let's have a Google. I've already forgotten the name. Howard Overman. I haven't seen any of the things he's written, to be honest. But maybe he'd be good. He seems, British TV writer. He's got a couple of things in mind. Why not? Charlie Hill says, love physical media. Where can I buy the Echo's Destiny box set? Bet you weren't expecting that. It's covered in dust. Where's the other one? The wonderful Rory Stock, who I'll give a shout out to, has actually made the Echo Saga DVDs. These are covered in dust. Apologies. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's legal to sell them, maybe. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Maybe they could do a giveaway. Maybe something along those lines so I don't get sued by the BBC. But, as I say, this is so cool. There are Echo Saga DVDs out there. We'll see where they go, though. I don't know what what will happen, but it would be cool. It would be cool. I hope Billie Piper in her first episode pulls a whoops wrong timeline as Bad Wolf and disappears and we get another actor. That would be quite funny, to be honest. Maybe she's stuck there for the episode and they've got to get her back to her universe or something along those lines. You'll need written permission from the BBC. They'll probably give it, though. They like expanded media. Maybe. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. That would be nice. Right, I think I'm going to start wrapping this stream up relatively soon. So fire in your final questions now. I can see there's still dust floating around in the air from those DVDs. And it's gone up my nose, so I feel like I'm about to sneeze. But, you know when you're like half about to sneeze? Get your final questions in, though. Yeah, we're going to wrap up this live stream soon. If you definitely want me to read your thing, please super chat it. Feel free, though. There's no obligation, but go for it. Do the Echo Saga DVDs have a classic to select audio navigation? They do. They even have little animations that Rory's done where like the camera pans over to the console and all this, just like the classic box sets. There's also, which I almost put in the final film, but Terry Malloy recorded a little... this was all done via Rory Stock, like the guy who voices Davros. He's amazing. Shout out to Rory. But yeah, Terry Malloy voiced a little what are they called? Like the things that come before shows, where he's like, "Oh, the Daleks are trying to kill the Doctor to save the universe. That makes a change." And just like little BBC idents. That's what they're called, idents, with the Daleks going past, and that is very cool. So that'll all end up on the box set if it ever happens. Continuity links, that's a more concise way of saying it. When The War Between the Land and the Sea comes out, will you be doing daily uploads again? If there's enough content, absolutely. The podcast will be back in full swing. There'll definitely be full reviews, more videos, etc., all of that. But yeah, genuinely started crying when this was announced, says Holly. What monster would you most like to return? I understand the emotion of it. I was so happy. It was like, oh, mad. But what monster? I love the Sontarans. I mean, they were in Flux and they were great in Flux, so maybe not them. Slitheen, that would be cool. I love the Slitheen. I don't know, actually. I would have said Omega, but he was kind of in the last episode, but he wasn't really. I also love the Sea Devils, but they're also going to be in the spin-off. So I don't know. I want new, genuinely good monsters. And the Adipose, says Connor, absolutely. Yeah, I suppose Flux was 4 years ago, the boxed cat. Very true. Old Web Shooter says, do you think Shooty is in the War spin-off since that was filmed before he left? Russell has actually said he's not in it, but obviously they could just be lying. Like there's always like there's a twist at the end. Maybe he is, but I don't think he is. I think he'll have gone out with the reality war. That's his time. It's done. I vote for the Stenza, just not Zim Shah. Yeah, I don't know why, but I rewatched Battle of Ranskorav Kolos the other day. What a mid finale. Like most of it's just them talking in rooms, and it's kind of like, come on guys, go out, do things, spectacle. But who knows? Do you think we'll ever see 14 again? Yes, he will be in the Christmas special. There's no confirmation of that, but I'm telling you now, I can sense it. It'll happen. But there we go. Thank you all very much for joining me in this live stream. This is your last opportunity. Chuck in a couple of comments. I'll read 3 more before I go. Get them in the chat. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you want a more concise, less discussion-y, talky version of this, check out the video I released earlier today that just breaks down all the news quite simply for you. The Ice Warriors, yeah, the Ice Warriors would be good. The Ice Warriors would be good. What about the Series 9 approach? 2-parters for every episode could help save money and give stories more time to breathe. That would be cool. The hybrid arc, the 2 intertwined, that would be cool. I think 14 and 15 merging is a very high possibility. Yeah, I maybe, but then I don't think Shooty's going to come back. Doctor Who Mania, thank you very much to Doctor Who Mania for the super chat. Doctor Who Mania says, hey Joe, just joined the stream, very happy about the news today. Also, Russell may have hinted on Insta about what the episode might be about. I will give Russell's thing a look once this live chat's done. Yeah, because he hadn't posted when I started this, so thank you for everyone who's updated me. But yeah, thank you very much for the super chat, really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you all. I hope you did enjoy the live stream. Sorry for those who've just joined. Go back and rewatch this live stream. Imagine it's live. You'll never know the difference. But yeah, thank you very much. Hope you did enjoy. You're now, as ever, going to be treated to watching me awkwardly try and end the live stream without knocking off the ring light that's balanced on a candle. So here we go. Drum roll.